So I wrote this short story that's a parody of Christmas Carol. I read about the first quarter of it a couple weeks ago. I want to read a little bit more tonight. So last time there was a first spirit. It was kind of having a little talk with Scrooge. My cash flows only goes down each December, said Scrooge. Why is that? Because you lack the marketing skills. Listen, dude, I'm just a kid. They told me to say this. I don't know nothing about cash flow and marketing and whatnot, but I do know that Christmas present you got totally sucked. You knew it and your parents did. It's a wonder that the merchants didn't know it yet. It did suck, said Scrooge. I hated Christmas for that. All the boring crap I got each year. But the worst part was having to buy gifts for others. I knew I had to, or they wouldn't get me anything. Yes, said the ghost. It's the implicit contract of Christmas. Everyone must buy gifts. No one shall buy too cheap a gift, and each gift must be a roughly equal value. Everyone is afraid their gift will be too cheap, so they buy something a little pricier each year. Since gifts must be equal value, everyone else does likewise. It's an arms race, shouted Scrooge, finally getting it. Christmas is a competition to see who can buy the most expensive gifts. That can be exploited through advertising. And here I was, too cheap to take out ads on Christmas. Yep, said the kid. You've got to spend money to make money. The second of the three spirits. Scrooge was sawing logs when he was awoken by a bright light. He looked up and saw something he could hardly believe. It was his room, but it was totally transformed. Christmas lights were strewn about. An enormous live Christmas tree beckoned in the corner with gifts piled so high that only half of the tree was even visible. Even the ornaments looked expensive. Stockings hang on the wall, packed so tight they almost burst, filled with expensive electronic devices and jewelry. The room was a virtual Christmas wonderland. Sitting on a brand new IKEA sofa was a jolly giant, glorious to see. He held high a glowing torch. "Come here," exclaimed the ghost. "Come here and get to know me better, man." Scrooge got up and walked up to the enormous ghost. "I am the ghost of Christmas presents. Look upon me." Scrooge did so, gazing with an awe at the big man. "You have never seen the likes of me before," exclaimed the spirit. "Never," said Scrooge. "The ghost of Christmas present, you say?" No, I said the ghost of Christmas presents. All these wonderful gifts you see. Every man, woman, and child is entitled to several of each year. These gifts which you refuse to buy because you're too cheap." "Yes, I hate buying gifts," said Scrooge. "At your own loss," replied the ghost. "What you see around you is exactly how your shop should look each year. Think of it as an investment. You need to appear generous, charitable even. Otherwise, people won't want to buy things from you." "Do you mean to say that it's my greed that's keeping me from realizing my full potential for wealth?" "No, your greed is what Christmas is all about. But Christmas is also about dishonesty. You're plenty greedy, but you're too honest. You say bah humbug when your nephew wished you a Merry Christmas, and you told him to get lost. So he quickly scurried over to the competitor to shop there. That's bad business, man." It was all becoming clear to Scrooge. So many business opportunities I've lost because I didn't know how to present myself. "Ah, you didn't know how to present, that is, to give presents," said the ghost. "Presents are what make Christmas work. It's become the lifeblood of industry. Now an entire quarter of each year is devoted to the holiday, in marketing and preparing people to shop." The giant ghost rose, admiring his own clothes. "Take this robe, for example. It's made of the finest silk. My sister-in-law bought this for me. Would you like to touch it?" Scrooge reached out and touched the man's robe, and suddenly everything vanished. They stood in a home much like the amazing masterpiece that his own home had been transformed into by the ghost. In the next room, he heard a child crying. To the right, he saw his employee, Bob Cratchit, walk in. He was arguing with Mrs. Cratchit about something. "Tiny Tim can survive one more year. We just can't afford it this year," yelled Bob. "Spirit," said Scrooge, "tell me if Tiny Tim will live." "I see a vacant seat in the corner," replied the ghost, "and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die." No, said Scrooge. "Oh no, kind spirit, say he will be spared." "The family can't afford health insurance," said the ghost. "The government has been bickering for years about how to solve the problem of escalating healthcare costs, while kids like Tiny Tim suffer. You don't want your taxes to go to help kids like this, do you?" Of course not, said Scrooge, finally coming to his senses after a brief bout of human decency. That's my money. I'm not going to pay a dime to help that dwarf. But why can't the parents work harder and pay for it themselves? Because you don't pay him a livable wage, and health care costs are rising several times that of inflation. Families like Cratchit's simply can't afford it. But look around us, yelled Scrooge. I see a couple of iPhones laying around, dozens of huge presents, and an immaculate Christmas tree. If they're so poor, how can they afford all this? It's called credit cards, said the ghost. Then it dawned on Scrooge. They have their priorities straight. They would rather surround themselves with expensive stuff than pay for the basics like healthcare and food. Now do you see the opportunity you've been passing up? Christmas presents aren't gifts for them, they're for you. All that money goes into your coffers rather than paying for healthcare for kids like Tiny Tim. At that moment, if you look closely, you might notice dollar signs flashing in Scrooge's eyes. All right, so I'm going to read tonight. If you are interested in reading it yourself, I got a few copies, so just let me know, I'll give you one.